I'll clip along through this very quickly. I'm John Fitzgerald, Operations Director, and I'll just tell you a little bit about Barretstown, and then my colleague John will tell you what makes Barretstown so special as a place to come and visit. We were established in 1994, and we're a registered charity, and every year we need to raise about 5.5 million to operate. Through our residential programme since 1994, we've served over 40,000 children and campers suffering with serious illness. And in 2018, we're expanding our camp again. We'll run 20 family camps with about 25 families, 4 bereavement camps for families who've lost a child to serious illness, and then what is the life and soul of Barretstown through the summer, a number of children's camps with about 125 children in each. And then we have a number of charity partners as well whom we work with, including Jack and Jill, who are a charity partner with us for the last number of years, and some charity partner day camps. Next year we hope to serve over 3,500 campers in Barretstown. And since 2012 we started an outreach programme. We'd be very active in the Children's Hospital in Crumlin and a number of other hospitals, and also in schools right throughout the country. And since 2012 we've served over 12,000 children through our outreach programme, and in 2018 we've targeted to serve in excess of 4,000 children through the outreach programme. We have a 500-acre estate sitting down outside Naas, and we can accommodate up to about 250 campers and staff on site, and we can normally host up to about 125 campers and 100 staff and volunteers and medical volunteers, so anyone who'd like to put their name down, we'd be more than happy to have you on board. We have a theatre which seats 280 people, and then our dining hall serves 250 meals a day, three times a day. An absolutely fantastic dining hall, which is the life and soul of Barretstown, and 20 individual activity areas. So there's a very, very comprehensive site and purpose-built facilities, fully accessible to people with all levels of mobility and all challenges. So we'd love to welcome any and all of you here, and we rely upon yourselves to support people applying to Barretstown. Now, I'll pass you over to John, who tells you how we do what we do. Thank you.
Hey, good morning, folks. Thanks, John. So John spoke about our facility and where we're based, and I want to just tell you a little bit about what's often referred to as the magic of camp, what makes Barretstown as special as it is. The first thing, I guess, is being sick can put a child's life on hold. That's something we would tell all of the staff who work there. And another way of looking at it, or something else we've come across, is that being sick can speed up your childhood sometimes, because kids become very comfortable with words like chemotherapy and radiation and neutropenic, words that little kids shouldn't have to know the meaning of. And they miss out on some time with their own peers, with kids their own age. So it's very important to us that we create a space where that time can be brought back into their lives, where they get to hang out with other kids and simply be kids as well. So how we make a difference. So our mission is that we believe every child with serious illness should enjoy their childhood. We offer free, at any cost, specifically designed camp programs for children and their families living with a serious illness. And what we're trying to do all of the time is to rebuild confidence and self-esteem in the campers that we serve and in the families that we serve. The therapeutic recreation model, that's central to all aspects of the program. And we encourage children to challenge themselves and step into what we call their stretch zone. So everybody has 3 levels of comfort. So your basic comfort zone is you're sitting here, you're listening to me talk about Barretstown, or watching a movie, or listening to music. Stretch zone is doing something that's a little bit more challenging, like maybe standing here talking to all of you about Barretstown. And then panic zone is where you're really freaking out about something. And what tends to happen in panic is you're not having any fun. If kids end up in that zone, if you run an activity where kids end up in a panic zone, they're not going to enjoy themselves. So that's what we're trying to not do. But we do want kids to stretch themselves. Our residential camps and outreach programs have had a profound effect and lasting impact on our campers and their families. After participating, children go home with increased belief, self-confidence and esteem, and most importantly, the reassurance that happiness and fun are not just for healthy kids, So we've heard it said, that the campers who come to Barretstown feel normal after they leave Barretstown. Well, that's a hugely powerful thing for us to be able to do. So how we do it then is our therapeutic recreation model. So the model has 5 parts: challenge, success, reflection, discovery. And the key to it is fun is in the center of the model. So, and even adults can testify to this. If you're not having fun, your chances are you're not really going to challenge yourself as well. So we believe fun has to be everywhere, particularly when you're working with campers. And we respond directly to the needs of children living with a serious illness, both clinically and psychologically. So we would have psychological support for our campers as well. Our therapeutic recreation model is recognized by pediatricians and psychologists all over the world as an important and necessary component in a child's treatment. And we've heard it said also that the hospital treats the illness, but at Barretstown we treat the child. So the model is designed to engage and empower each child, enhance self-esteem, as I've said, their confidence, hope, build friendship, trust, social skills, and independence in a really safe atmosphere, both physically and emotionally. It has to be safe for kids as well. Again, we want them to relax and feel comfortable with everything that's going on around them. And it's set up to allow children of all levels of ability to participate, to succeed and flourish. And all the camp activities are fully accessible, as John said. So if you're a camper who maybe uses a wheelchair, maybe you use crutches, whatever it is, we'll make sure that if you want to canoe, you get to canoe. If you want to climb the high ropes tower, we'll make that happen as well. So all of our activities are all accessible. And our staff are very, very highly trained and certified for all these activities as well. And all members of the delivery team are trained in therapeutic recreation, not only understanding it and how it works, or even not only understanding the impact of it, but how do you deliver it? How do you walk kids through the model? So I'm going to try and quickly go through the model with you because I appreciate we're short on time. So the challenge aspect of it, this is the first thing. So we encourage all children to challenge themselves in their own comfort zones. So what's challenging for me might be totally different for somebody else. And likewise, 2 10-year-old children, a challenge to one will be totally different for the other. It's a physically and emotionally safe environment, and it's set up from the minute kids arrive. So as soon as you step out of your car, or if you're getting collected by one of our buses, as soon as you get off the bus, we want kids to feel safe immediately, because camp can go by so quickly. So we want to get to work on therapeutic recreation so fast. The great thing about Barretstown is campers never hear us talk about therapeutic recreation. They just think it's camp and it's fun and it's magical. But behind the scenes, there's a huge amount of thought that goes into running the program. Each child makes their own decisions about their level of participation. Again, as I said at the start, I don't want to have to force a child to take part in an activity, because again, what that does is it pushes you into that stretch zone I talked about, or that panic zone that I talked about. I want kids to choose to go into that zone. And we run our activities based on challenge by choice. So if I'm really nervous about going canoeing and I really don't want to go, then you don't have to go in Barretstown. But slowly but surely, the staff are trained to try and encourage kids to that point where maybe by the end of the activity, they'll choose to take part and get involved. Success is the key to this. So success is individual and celebrated the same way. So if a camper climbed to the top of the high ropes course and rings the bell, that's praise and there's a lot of success in cheering. If a camper climbs to the top of the ladder, that's praise, there's a lot of success in cheering. It's very individual. And the key to making therapeutic recreation work is that the staff are trained to spot times where kids have been successful, and then we label that success as well. So the obstacles to participation are removed. We create a fully inclusive program. Fun and teamwork are promoted because we want to avoid competition. Can anybody tell me the 2 certain things that competition creates? There's only 2 certainties: winners and losers. And it's great to be the winner, and I'll just leave it at that. We don't want any kids feeling like losers when they're at camp. The DLP model is how we do it. We describe, label, and praise. So if we notice a child do something that's impressive, we tell them about it. Everything from being brave, to being patient, to being a good team player, good teamwork, to challenging themselves, pushing their limits, we'll praise them for that. So that's the key. That's what staff are looking out for all the time. And if I was to ask you real quickly, if we just meet for the first time over a cup of tea and I ask you to tell me about yourself, what words would you use to describe yourself? Would anyone shout up a word to me that you use to describe yourself? It can be anything. Positive. Friendly, brilliant. Give me one more. Funny, yeah, great sense of humor. Okay, so if I was to describe myself, I might say I'm organized. Those are nice things for adults to say about themselves, but how do you know that's what you are? At some point in your life, somebody said that to you and you thought, actually, you know what, I am funny. Your friend probably just did it to you right there. Or if somebody says, that was a real brave thing you did, you can internalize that, and you then use that as a word to describe yourself. So when an adult does that to a child, or an adult who works in Barretstown does it to one of our campers, it has a massive impact. So if I can say to a child, that was a really creative thing you just did, hopefully through the model they start to internalize that word as creative and use it as a word to describe themselves. That's an incredible thing to be able to do. So success, reflection. So third part of the model is reflection. So much happens in the day. At certain points we have to just stop, take stock of what's gone on, and think about what we've done. So we set time aside for children to internalize their success and their associated feelings. How did that make you feel when you were told you were brave? When you jumped off the top of the high ropes course and hung on the trapeze bar? When you performed on stage? All that sort of stuff. How did that make you feel? We do it individually and we do it in groups, and it can be structured and unstructured. A great time for us to do it is around the dinner table. We get staff to ask kids, what did you do today? Tell me a little bit about what your day was. So even at meal times, therapeutic recreation is happening. When it can happen in cottage chat, meal times, transition times, activity debriefs, and rest hour. And the 2-adult ratio that we have really, really helps this. So for every camper, there will be 2 staff members with them at all times. So again, it's about getting those conversations going with kids, and then really, really powerful can be having kids tell other kids, what did you do today? How did that make you feel? Discovery is the part we don't always see at camp, but we hear a lot about after camp. There are lots of instances where you'll see it happening, where a child discovers something about themselves in the 8 days or the 7 days they're with us. But we get lots of emails and letters back from people after camp to say, you know, these are the changes I've seen, this is what I've noticed in my child, and that's really powerful stuff. We see the growth in belief, in confidence, self-esteem, independence in children right from the minute they get off the bus, as I said, to the minute we send them home at the end of the week. And we hear about their increased participation and sharing their experiences. And we also have testimonials and feedback, that stuff I just talked to you about. But the discovery is an amazing thing to witness when you're at camp too, and you see kids who at the start of the week might be quite shy and introverted, who by the end of the week are buzzing with energy, to the point where they're the ones performing on stage or dancing in the dining hall, or they're the first in line to queue up at an activity or something like that. That just shows you how confident they've gotten in such a small space of time. The Yale research that we've been part of that kind of backs up everything I've talked about, we asked parents and caregivers if they'd noticed any changes in their child following camp, and 83% reported an increase in their child's self-confidence, 80% reported an increase in self-esteem, 76% an increase in maturity, and 74% an increase in independence. Huge things to be able to build in a young person's life. And fun, as I said, is the key to it. It has to be everywhere from cleaning the cottage to being in an activity. We try to make fun, because again, if kids are enjoying themselves and having a laugh, it makes them much more comfortable around each other. If you remove fun from the therapeutic recreation model, the model stops at any point. So if the challenge is not fun, it never happens. If the success isn't done in a fun way, it's never internalized. So fun is so important to us all the time. And that's why anybody who's experienced Barretstown will know exactly what I'm talking about, whether it's the wacky costumes or whether it's the big welcome you get when you arrive, whatever it might be, fun is always there. And children need to be enjoying themselves in order to challenge themselves. So it is really central to everything we do. These are some of the activities we run just on the right-hand side of me there. So high ropes, low ropes, mini zip wire, climbing wall, canoeing, archery. There's lots and lots of them there. And it's a break from the hospital, but it's not a break from medical or psychological treatment, as I said, because we have a fully functional medical centre on site. And as John was saying, we're always looking for volunteer doctors and nurses. So if that's something you're interested in, please do let us know, or you can go onto the Barretstown website and check out the information that's there. But it offers a real safety blanket for parents as well, to know that if something was to happen, or if their child wasn't feeling well, we would be able to look after that need as well. There's 24-hour medical care. And really, we want to keep the med shed as quiet as possible. We want kids outside enjoying themselves, having fun, but they're there in the background if we need them for anything. And it's a great safety net for me as a camp director as well, to know that these people are here to help us and advise us as well, and they're very much part of our team.